Hey everybody, it's my 125 gallon tank and I've been treating it with Levamisole hydrochloride for the last couple of days. I've got the lights turned out, which is why it looks so odd. You're actually seeing the reflection of my waterfall tank. So just to intro the video, wanted to show you that I have had the lights turned out for the last couple of days. The medication is light sensitive, so I don't know if it's that sensitive, but better safe than sorry. It's no big deal just to simply turn the lights out. So let me put you on pause here. I'll get the lights turned back on, and we will have a little bit of chat about where we stand with the medication process. Alright, so I've got the tank lights turned on, I've got the waterfall lights turned out, and we'll get a little bit better look in the tank. So my first concern, before we even get to talking about anything, is now that I've got the lights on in the tank and I can see in there, I'm seeing this loach sort of sticking out like that. Now, normally that wouldn't be much of a concern because loaches do sleep in such a way that makes them look like they're dead on the bottom of the tank. But that's a little unusual. I've never seen it quite so under the rocks like that with just its tail sticking out, and it hasn't so much as twitched since the lights have come on. So that's got me a little bit concerned. I don't believe that's even the loach that I was really concerned with in the first place. The one that I've got that's really skinny, well, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I had one that was really skinny, and then I had a medium-sized loach that was a little bit skinny, but not really in any danger, I didn't think necessarily. But my really skinny one, I was actually worried that any day now I could lose it because it's just so thin. And I don't know if that's it or not. And possibly just the medication itself might have been enough to do it in. I don't really know how the medication would have done that, but it's entirely possible that, you know, when an animal's that stressed and that emaciated to begin with, it's entirely possible that that might have had some sort of, you know, devastating effect like that. I can see one of my chocolate zebra plecos down between those two rocks right there. I can see its tail fins moving around, so that fish is okay. Again, this is my first real look into the tank since I've had the light on over the last couple days. My Tenepoma's okay. All the rainbow fish are okay. You can see my snakeskin gourami right there is okay. But I am only seeing 2 of the 3 loaches, and one of them is that loach right there, which again is really beginning to concern me. It's usually not, you know, even when they're asleep, they wake up eventually. This is a very long time for that loach to be sitting there, if that is asleep, to be that asleep. So I'm going to put you on pause again and go ahead and stick my hand in there and see if we're not going to be pulling a dead loach out of the tank. So hang on half a second here. Well, unfortunately, I pulled a dead loach out of there. That is my small one. That was the really, really skinny one. And it apparently did not make it. So this one back here must be the medium-sized one that was still showing signs of being skinny, but didn't yet look like it was, you know, on death's door. This one already looked like it was on death's door. I was really kind of surprised it was still alive, to be honest with you. I did not expect it to make it through the medication process, and unfortunately it didn't. So now somewhere in the tank is my big loach, and I don't have any idea where that one is. But let me go address this. I need to get rid of this loach, and then we will come back here and have a little chat about what's going on in the tank. So sit tight and I'll see you in a moment. Alright everybody, I have disposed of the dead loach. It's out in the garden now. This is my medium-sized loach that you can see is still pretty skinny. You can sort of see those ridge lines sort of behind its head where it's getting kind of narrow. See those bright spots? That's actually kind of an angular, bony looking area because it's really starting to get that thin that you can sort of see those bones protruding like that. So the other one was so skinny it looked emaciated, and again, I didn't expect it to live, so not a big surprise there. This one is still doing okay, and I did find my big one, which is down there. Sorry about all the glare, but you can see it is in there, and it's still doing fine, so I'm not too concerned about that. So now that we've taken stock and we know what's going on, I wanted to make sure that the loach that it wasn't a different one that died or anything. That really was the little skinny one. This is the medium one that I, expected to live, and then the other one still looks fine. So, when I medicated the tank, I used a cattle wormer, or dewormer. That's one of those weird words that a wormer and a dewormer both mean the same thing. Sort of like flammable and inflammable both mean the same thing. So the dewormer, wormer, whatever you want to call it, is Levamisole hydrochloride. And when I put it in the tank, I had to calculate how much to dissolve into the water. And it wasn't very much. I needed a little bit less than 1 full gram in the entire tank. It was something like 947 milligrams or 964 milligrams or something like that. Just under a gram. So I figured rounding up to a gram would not be any big deal, considering that that's still about 200 times lower than the fatal level, a lethal dose of it for the fish. So I was anywhere near approaching anything that was going to be, dangerous or anything like that. And so no concerns by just rounding it up to a simple gram. However, when I was measuring it out, I had a little piece of paper on my scale, and I was sprinkling the powder onto the paper, and I put a lot of powder on that scale before it finally moved from 0 to 1 gram. And I thought, I don't know, that looks a little suspicious to me. So I lifted the paper up, and then I set the paper back down, and it went up to 3.5 grams all of a sudden. So the gently sprinkling the powder onto the paper, wasn't the same as having the powder just put onto the scale all at once. So as I suspected, I had 3.5 grams rather than 1 gram. So what I did was I took my little measuring scoop and I scooped powder off of the scale until it dropped back to flickering between 1 and 1.5. And I called it good. And we went ahead and put that in the tank. So the point of this story is I probably should have read the entire page when I was reading about how to properly calculate the dosage, because what I needed was roughly 1 gram of the Levamisole. What I was putting in here was Levamisole hydrochloride. So I needed to account for the additional weight of the hydrochloride. And so what I should have been doing was putting something like 1.7 grams in this tank, or just under 2 grams of Levamisole hydrochloride should have gone in this tank. So even though I probably was somewhere between 1 and 1.5 grams, I probably still actually didn't even dose it with enough Levamisole, and I'm probably going to have to redose the tank. So I don't think there was any concern about the fish dying because of the medication. I honestly may not even have given it enough of a dose to be effective. And so I really feel like I should probably do a second dose. So the fish absorb the medication quickly through their skin, and within a few hours it has worked its way through their digestive tract, and within 24 to 48 hours, it has actually worked its way through the fish and been metabolized out and is done. And so now it's time to do a big water change on the tank. And what I think I'm going to do is maybe like a 25%, fill it back up, and then do another 25%. Or maybe I'll do a 50%, fill it up, and then do another 25%. We're going to get a really, really big water change done today. I also turned the temperature of the tank from 75 degrees Fahrenheit up to 79 degrees, and right now it's sitting at 78, but you can see it's actively heating, trying to warm the tank up. So I do have the tank warmed up just a little bit, and I think that should make it more comfortable for the loaches, but I don't know if we're going to be able to count that as a full dose or not, because as I said, I didn't account for the extra weight of that hydrochloride, and I was a little on the light side rather than on the heavy side like I thought I was, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Anyway, I'm not going to do a before and after video. I just wanted to do an update. This is, again, me coming in here and getting this tank lit up and looked at for the first time. So you all got to see that with me. Now I'm going to get on with tinkering around with the water changes and all that kind of stuff. And you can subscribe, and that way you'll get updates as they come. And when I shoot more video of this tank, you'll get to see it. So don't forget, this is my 125-gallon tank. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. and I will see you real soon in the next one.